We all have masks. We all try to find the special things inside of us. But when you get to sit in a chair, like in Batman Returns, and have some artist like mess you up, it's like really cool. It's like when you put on a costume where you go to Halloween or anything like that. It's kind of, you have this freedom. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Ken Kesey's book, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And I was fortunate enough to do the play off-Broadway. Like, they did the play on Broadway years ago, and then in 1970, I think, they did it in San Francisco, revived it. By that time, everybody was hip to Kesey's work, and they really appreciated the fact that what was going on in the country. They weren't staying in hospitals, people were giving them drugs, outpatient kind of stuff. Anyway, I did the play off Broadway, and then in 1974, I did the movie, and that was with Milos Forman directing it. Even though Nicholson and I were born in the same hospital in New Jersey, in Neptune, New Jersey. I lived in Asbury. We'd never met, but I used to hear about him all the time when I was a kid. His sister and my sister were both in the beauty, but they were in the hairdressers. And then one day, I saw one of his movies, right, in a drive-in movie theater. And I said, this guy ain't so good, No, but he was... Anyway, during Cuckoo's Nest in 74 is when we first met, and it was a fun trip. I had a great time doing Martini. Martini's whole thing was that he was a pilot in the war, and he was shot down, and he was in water, and everything was sinking. So if you notice in the movie, besides being like really very agreeable, really good guy, and enjoying the company of everybody, and like always wanting to be positive, that was part of the smile that was going on. I also sat on my feet. I was on a piece of furniture, sitting on a chair, on the arm when we were playing cards, or if I was in the group therapy, I always wrapped myself up in my feet, because as the tension built, that was like part of the idea of the water rising that kept coming back.
Hit me.
I can't hit you because it ain't your turn yet. You understand? You see these other people? These are the real ones. These are real people here.
So that was Martini. Taxi. Taxi was like kind of a gift in a way. It was 1978. I'd done Cuckoo's Nest, was in the movie theaters already. It was in 75, I think, and was really a big hit. And, I was in this kind of like juncture of like wanting to direct, wanting to act. I couldn't, actors, you can't find it. It's really difficult to find a job, basically. We're all looking for work, that was, you did everything. I did Policewoman, and I did Starsky and Hutch. I think I did Going South, which was a movie that Jack directed. Casting director said there's this bunch of guys doing this thing that were from the Mary Tyler Moore Show. Now, not being a television freak, especially in that era, because it was, out looking for work all the time with acting. I didn't watch all these, the Mary Tyler Moore Show and Room 222 and whatever Jim Brooks and Ed Weinberger, Stan Daniels, but it didn't really resonate with me because I'd never watched it. So casting director says, this part is like amazing, you should go. And I said, okay, and I went in and I read the script. It was like a great part, really cantankerous, telling people what to do. Don't put your hands like that. Put your hands down, okay? Telling people what to do. Always like in that spot. Take the hat off, this kind of stuff, all that. So I figured to get this part, I wanted to do something really, something they would remember me by. So I walked in with the script, and they were all sitting around. And I said, one thing I want to know before we start, who wrote this shit? And I threw it on a coffee table. And there was this moment of terror where I just walked, and then all of a sudden, like, everybody just laughed their asses off. And from that moment on, like, when I was in the audience, I mean, anything I said they found funny, like I said, and. So it was like really a cool way to get a part. One time that backfired on me, but that's a whole other story. There was a guy doing a movie, a play, and I'd seen a play that he directed, and I thought the best thing to do would be to do something crazy, to go in. I did something really wacky, and I didn't get the part. So it doesn't always work.
You won an Emmy and a Golden Globe for that role. How did that feel?
Oh, it was great.
That early in your career?
Well, you know, the whole thing about that being a gift, I said it before, but the idea is that, you know, we were all out there looking for the thing, you know, and you could do tons and tons of parts and you can be good, but you got to be prepared. So you go, that's what you do, classes, you do everything, acting studies, all the things that you do, and all the little parts. And once in a while, you get lucky. I got really fortunate because at that moment, that character came along, Louis De Palma, and it was like a definite fit.
You found $2,000 I've been looking for. Hey, you never lost $2,000. I didn't say I lost it. I just said I was looking for it. I've been looking for $2,000 all my life. Hands off, Louis. Hey, Louis. Oh, my God. It's your mother calling. She says somebody's trying to break into her apartment. Tell her I get back to her.
At that time, there were 3 networks, ABC, CBS, NBC, and everybody watched television at that time. And I don't know if this matters, you understand this, but there's a share of the audience. And the share of the audience was based with the Nielsen. They used to have the little boxes on a percentage of television. That share was based on how many TVs were sold. And we had a lead-in, a show that came before us called Three's Company, which was very popular. It was really popular. So we were also very lucky to have that lead-in for our show, our first show. And if you can imagine that on a Monday, I walk around and everything was like, you know, normal. Tuesday night, the 60% of the people that had televisions were watching the show. I mean, that's mind-blowing. Now, if you're like, you know, why do Sunny, you know, if you get a share that's like, it's like nothing compared to that, or any show. They're so homogenized now. There's so many different places for you to get entertainment that the share was like, because there were only 3. Walking down the street, supermarkets, Louis. It was great, you know. So it was this is the power of this. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. From the very beginning with those guys and Caitlin, with Charlie and Glenn and Rob, we hit it off right away. They had done 8 shows, and I watched the shows. I'm friends with John Landgraf, who runs FX, who used to be my partner at Jersey Television. And I saw the show, and I thought it was really, really terrific. And I loved the whole style of it. They write all the scripts, but we get to screw around, you know, in between. And right from the very beginning, and I'm a little older than they are, I was the dad of Sweet Dan, you know, Dennis. Of course, my wife was a whore. That fit in later on. But I raised them anyway, never. And look at how what upright citizens they are right now because they've been, you know, mentored by Frank. Anyway, from the very beginning with all of them, we became like really close. And I feel like they're my family. You can't beat that because when you go to work every day and you have people who you love and you care about, it's like being on the set with your buddies.
Do you have a specific scene or a specific episode that was your favorite to shoot?
You know, the kind of radical, crazy stuff, you know, where they slime me or they throw me out of a window. Paint me black. I was a shadow, like hiding in a corner. You know, it was really cool. The idea is that, you know, going into the makeup trailer and getting puffed up for Mac's show when he came out. You know, all that stuff is like, I dig that stuff. Obviously, like all the parts that I like to play. We all have masks, you know, and I figure that, you know, with Frank, that's a certain mask. Like in the movie I'm doing now with the, you know, in Jumanji, it's a certain thing. All the movies you do. But when you get to sit in a chair, like in Batman Returns, you get to sit in a chair for 3 hours and have some artist like mess you up. It's like really cool. It's like when, you know, when you put on a costume where you go to Halloween or anything like that. It's kind of, you have this freedom, you know, that's really, really cool. So all the shows that we have done that were a little bit out in the stratosphere, those are my favorites. When I read the scripts and I say, this is going to be a fun one, you know, to do.
I'm sure now everywhere you go, it's Frank.
Yeah, Frank. And take your clothes off and come out of a couch. Yeah.
Oh, great. Now you... What in the hell? Oh, no.
was looking up tattoos of Frank Reynolds. Of
Yes.
you on people.
Yeah.
And the one that's the most common is the trash man
Yeah.
and the rum hand.
Yeah, and my rum ham,
Yeah.
which is very good, by the way. If you soak ham in rum, it's very good. It's not good for the pig, but it's really good for you. Yeah, there are tattoos I've seen of people, you know, what can I mean, I think the trash man is like, yeah, I guess rum ham is good too. I remember the day we shot the rum ham. It was like really great. We were in that raft, oh man, and the ham got out and it was floating away. It was like so cool. Yeah, like lots of fun.
Will you stop being so dramatic? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Where's the rum ham? What? Where's the rum? Rum ham!
No! Frank, stay in the boat! Frank,
Rum
stay in the
ham!
boat!
Oh, rum ham! I'm sorry, rum ham!
Throw Mama from the Train. Throw Mama from the Train was Ann Ramsey, rest of soul. She was like the icing on the cake. Billy Crystal came to me with Stu Silver's script, and he said, you know, would you like to play Owen? And at that time, I was just like kind of feeling I wanted to direct. So I'd done a couple taxis. I did some short films and this, that, and the other thing. I said, yeah, I'll play Owen if you let me direct the movie because I really have a feeling for this. And they went for it. Now, we looked everywhere for like Momma. I mean, I looked, you know, casting. I mean, just couldn't find it. And all of a sudden, one day, Ann Ramsey, who I had worked with on another movie, but had this, like, some problems with her physical. She had some operations and she had some cancer taken out. And when she walked into my office, I didn't recognize her. I swear to God. She said, "Yeah, Billy," you know, and she came over to me and gave me a big hug. And then I went, holy it's Ann. It's like, my God, I had this whole thing done. She was talking like this. And I said, don't move. Stay right where you are. And I went into Billy Crystal and Larry Bresner's office, and I said, you got to come with me. Momma is in my office. She was so amazing. And game, like do anything. We did all kinds of green screen and stuff, and we hung her upside down, and we had a ball, and she was like, it was so much fun.
What are you doing to my mama? Making a wish. What the hell do you think I'm doing, Owen? Oh, no.
Billy's a good, really dear friend, and we had lots and lots of fun. Give you everything. He just gives you, you know, more and more and more. It's fun to have friends who you love to work with, and it's also you can take a little bit of license and abuse them a little. That's good because they're your friends. What are you going to do? I've done it with Michael Douglas. I've done it with Jack. I've done it with him, and we're still friends. So it's cool. Twins. Arnold, my man, my good man. He's a good friend. We had a ball doing that. That was out of left field kind of thing. The first time I met him, I have 3 children now. I had 2 at the time, 2 girls. And I was in New York, and I was like, you know, full of like diaper bags and all kinds of stuff. I was getting out of a car. I remember it like I was going to a hotel in New York. This was before we did Twins, right? And I was struggling, I guess, with coming out of the car. And I thought it was a doorman helping me. And the guy says, "Come on, Denny." And he pulled me out. And it was Arnold. I said, "Oh, he's like," now he took everything with me. He helped the 3 of us. Cut to the chase, somebody called me and said, "Would you like to do a movie with Arnold and be his twin?" Now, I think that was Ivan Reitman, and I said, absolutely. You know, it's really fun. I like contrasts. I like, you know, all kinds of like wacky things, and that was beautiful.
Do I look okay?
You look better, let's put it that way. You know what we have to do, Jules? We gotta work on the way you're walking a little bit. I mean, you look a little stiff, you know? You ever see Frankenstein?
I read the book.
Now, that's not gonna help. You see, when you walk, you gotta walk like you're moving to music. You know, and I don't mean a military march. I mean, like, you know, Aretha Franklin and Otis Redding and Wilson Pickett. A couple of white people.
Like this?
Yeah, wow, that's it. Yeah.
Loose. Oh, I like that.
He's like really, plays a lot of practical jokes and stuff, because I'm always on a diet. I've been on a diet since I was 10. And he, when I'm doing the movie, he knew I was like trying to lose weight. And actually had a big gym, and we would go, and I'd do like 15 minutes at level 4 on the cycle thing. And he'd do like, half hour at level 14, something. And then we go to my trailer and we'd have a little light, and I'd do the thing like we're gonna really light lunch, a salad, and try to really good. And then 10 minutes later, somebody would walk in with all kind of gooey desserts that he's trying to tempt me with. And I succumbed, as you can tell. Batman Returns. Lovely, wonderful. It was great. Batman Returns, also wonderful to do, work with Tim Burton. I've worked with him 4 or 5 times now. It's like really, it's a great relationship. But Batman Returns, our first, it was really terrific. His vision is like, beyond. He's an artist. Everything in the movie that you see basically was done. He draws everything, just really good artist. He draws everything. He showed me the Penguin Boy, and then we talked about all kinds of great stuff about the penguin being thrown away by his parents. And the whole idea of the basket floating down that tube into where the penguins are, to us, that was the birth canal. And the penguin was actually being born into the world that he wound up living in. He's a bird who couldn't fly and misunderstood. And a lot of times people are misunderstood. And sometimes they're assholes. But not Oswald. Come on. Just eat your kids. Okay, no, go ahead.
Hey, my name is not Oswald. It's Penguin. I am not a human being. I am an animal. Cold-blooded. Crank the AC. Where are my lists? Bring me the names. It's time. These are the names of the firstborn sons of Gotham City. Just like I was. And like me, a terrible fate waits for them. Tonight, while their parents party, they'll be dreaming away in their safe cribs, their soft beds, and we will snatch them, carry them into the sewer, and toss them into a deep, dark, watery grave.
I had V. Neal, who is a wonderful makeup artist, and I had all the great people who are supporting me in the look of the penguin. And also the material was very operatic. I like going big, having like some room to move. And the penguin, Oswald, gave me all that. I spent 3 hours in the morning, I used to watch films. In those days, before you were born, we'd put the TV on the back, and there's the mirror, and she would be doing my makeup, and I would watch TV. I would watch movies in the mirror. So almost all the movies that I've watched were backwards, like people entered from the left or entered from the... I always saw them backwards, and of course I could never watch films with subtitles. Matilda, one of my favorites. When my kids were younger and the girls and the boy we were just starting to read picture books like the Chris von Allsburg and the Jumanji, all the picture books. And then we started moving into chapter books. And they brought me this book that I had never heard of. It's called Matilda by Roald Dahl. And so I read the book, and it was like mind-blowing. And I said, I'd love to make this into a movie.
You're a crook.
What?
This is illegal.
Yeah, keep drilling. Do you make money? Do you have a job?
No, but don't people need good cars? Can't you sell good cars, Dad?
Listen, you little wiseacre. I'm smart, you're dumb. I'm big, you're little. I'm right, you're wrong. And there's nothing you can do about it.
A little dark, a little twisted, these rotten parents that raised this kid. It was like really special, which we all try to find the special things inside of us. And I found that they were already thinking about it. Something was really in the mix. And then casting the Trunchbull was like great. She was like, again, the way I looked for Momma, I looked like everywhere. And then one day I got a tape from England, from the Midlands, and she just nailed it, man. It nailed the Trunchbull. Scary. Really good. Kids love her.
What's it like acting but also directing?
I dig it. I really like it because I map out everything I do. So all my movies that I've directed, I already know generally kind of sketchy what they're gonna, how they're gonna be. And then I just, insert myself. And you live with it so much as a director. You know that. That's like a thing that you're constantly imagining what the thing is gonna be like. But it's a trip. It's really fun. Hercules. When you have kids, the idea is that you want to be on Sesame Street, you want to do animated movies, you want to see what their reaction is to, I loved doing Philoctates.
I'm too old to get mixed up in this stuff again.
But if I don't become a true hero, I'll never be able to rejoin my father, Zeus.
Hold it. Zeus is your father, right?
Uh-huh.
Zeus, the big guy, is your daddy. Mr. Lightning Bolts, read me a book, would you, Dada? Zeus, once upon a time.
It's the truth.
Please.
You sang in that film.
I did.
Did you want to, or was it?
I don't remember. Did I sing?
You sang.
Oh my God. I must have thought I was in a shower. Yeah, I don't know. How was it?
It was good.
Oh, good.
Some
What
of
did
the songs in the
I
movie.
sing? Can you do it?
I can't do it.
Really?
No.
Come on, try. What is it? Come on. Come over here.
I've been out to pasture, pound my ambition gone. Content to spend lazy days and to graze my lawn. But you need an advisor, a satyr but wiser, a good merchandiser, and whoa! There goes my ulcer!
Was that something you knew that you had to do, or going into it? Are you a singer? Do you like to?
No,
sing?
I can't remember that experience, but like I said, I really enjoy being thrown into stuff, so that, if you're there and somebody says, I probably, don't remember, but it probably was in the script. I just like it when things come out of left field. LA Confidential. I got beat up.
You got beat up.
Yeah, I got killed.
Yeah.
And I died in that one. Russell Crowe beat the out of me. He's a really bad guy. No, he's a good guy. This is the thing about working with people who have a vision. Curtis Hanson had a vision of LA Confidential. I remember when I first met with him, he had just, folders and folders of still pictures from the era, exactly like what he wanted the movie to look like. And there were characters in it you felt like, you could emulate. You could just get into. It's almost like the Ouija photos of, the great photographers of the day. It really was a pathway into the movie. So you get the texture and the feeling of what he wanted. And it was a lot of fun doing that.
Doing comedies versus doing dramas.
Timing.
Do you prefer to do that more outlandish?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know, I just like screwing around and having a good time, pushing the envelope if I can. It's fun to do a comedy. It's good to be serious, mix it up. Curmudgeons. Lucy's an actress who's in Curmudgeons, and she asked me to come and see a play at the Ensemble Studio Theater many years ago. It was a one-act play. I went to see it. David Margulies was in it. When we came out of the play, she said, "This is a great subject. It's a great relationship. It's a great part for you. You want to try it out?" And so I said, let's think about it and talk about it. And the guy, Josh Conkle, who wrote the play, we talked to him, and we just figured, why not? Let's have some fun. We love doing it. Josh wrote a great screenplay, and David and I played the parts, and we just had a good time doing it.
Ta-da! Jackie!
Hello, dummy.
You're in a wheelchair.
And a tuxedo. It took me 2 hours to put the on.
But you're in a wheelchair.
Hip surgery, yada yada yada. Let's not make a big production out of it. Yeah.
It took us 3 days, and my son Jake produced it. And I went and found the location. It was a funny story because I said, I found the perfect apartment, and the woman is willing to let us use it, right? And he said, where is it? And I said where it was. And then we went over there. And all the apartments are the same in the building. I picked one on the 4th floor. So as a filmmaker, you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? Equipment, you know what I mean, in New York. So you go, oh, yeah, why didn't you pick the one? It's exact same apartment. Once I said we were going to do it there, there was no way I could say to the woman, you know, we're not going to use it. So I said, that's so, there you go. That's what you do. You lug these things around, don't we?
What are you doing, dip?
Let's live together, Ralphie. For whatever time we got left. Marry me, why don't you?
Holy
What? It's legal now. Why shouldn't we?
You knew about this?
Yeah, a little.
So how's about it?
Jumanji, the next level. The idea of me working with Dwayne, The Rock, and all these, everybody in it was so. I saw the first movie, I dug it so much. Jake Kasdan, who directed it, I knew when he was a little kid. He used to come by. He and his dad and his mom and the brother would come by and hang out with the kids. They lived at the beach. When he said, would you do it? I said, oh my God, yeah, this is, it sounded like, you know, the cast has so much fun. So I want to be part of it. And the part is like, yeah, it's really a fun part, you know. I get to do the hip work, you know, I play old. I am old, but I mean, I get to be old. It's really fun working with Danny Glover. It's really it was an exciting thing for me.
Grandpa Eddie?
Anthony?
This is Martha and Bethany. This is Spencer's grandfather.
Nice to meet you.
Morning.
Sorry to barge in on you.
You're not barging, he's barging.
Milo Walker.
Did you guys see Spencer?
I think he went back in. We gotta go get him.
Are you out of your mind? We haven't even picked our guys yet.
Oh, I hate this part. All right.
You hear something?
I had so much fun making the movie. Again, it's like one of those things where a little family comes together and then you bust apart. But now we're back together again. It's really fun. I just saw the movie the other day. I loved it. And I think he did a great job. Really exciting and one-ups the other movie, which was good. But this one here is even better.